All right, hello, my beauties and bees. Who is ready to get weird with it? Because today we are going down the rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole. I hope you guys brought your snorkels, your spelunking gear, and of course a long sleeve coat. Because we are heading down to Antarctica. But there's no such thing as Antarctica. Antarctica is a fictional place that was invented to keep us from exploring beyond the ice wall. And we're going to find out about that today with Night God 333 Secrets Revealed. This gentleman covers a lot of wild stuff. We got Freemasons and giants. We've got of course, here's our segment about this guy covers a lot of this ice wall stuff, but spooky TikToks and the fog. Remember the fog? We covered that a couple weeks back too. Yeah, so he is going to take us on a journey beyond the ice wall. And legend of the navigator who crossed the ice wall in the 178 worlds beyond Antarctica. What? Yes, there's a map. Of course, there's a map. Let's do this. You guys ready? Woot woot. Tartaria train coming through. Oh, hold on. Gotta do his audio. That should be loud enough. Okay, let's turn up here.
All right, Night God family. I know y'all have been waiting for this one. This is the legend of the navigator who crossed the ice wall.
Oh, he's
178 worlds
right underneath my
beyond the
picture.
terror.
Hold on.
Woman born in the lands behind the ice walls. She found herself in a dreary gray room, struggling to open her eyes. Every day it gets harder to adapt to the walled lands, where her ancestors were from. A newspaper, dated June 22nd, reminded her of the rigid routine here, where humanity seems trapped in a dark, unchanging abyss. There is no freedom. Those from the ancestral lands' hearts ache for the known lands people, for they are paying for what the now free ancestors had done in the last war.
Map. That's crazy. Look at this. You got like little gateways so you can get to Eden and the Ark. Let's see, what else is there? Ancient land of Enak. I love looking at these weird maps. The second ice wall. So there's not just one. You get a second ice wall. Not just the one. There's two. Or more. Is there 3 ice walls? Maybe. Why is that called Morris Strait? And this is Antarctica. The ice wall's Antarctica. Does each one of these worlds have a sun that travels around it too? Like in a channel?
Memories of those who fought for freedom haunt her. Their sacrifices seemingly now in vain as they lost the Great War.
Okay, hold on. So there's Laurentia. So Laurentia... I mean, there's the Laurent, that's in North America. So, like, the Laurentine ice sheet is what covered it. So, North America used to be divided into 2 continents, too. But, got Asgard up here, Aquarius, Hyksos, Lemuria, because of course they have Lemuria, and the Kumari Sea. Oh my goodness, these people.
Helen ponders this while turning a small lamp on off, reflecting the bizarre need and obsession for materials in this place. It's all a distraction, a way of life, taught to keep them from their true potential, and they don't even know it, she thought. The history they are taught in their schools is all fabricated, but most of them would defend it with their lives. Can't help but notice that being here...
I think that's Tartaria, right? That the history's fabricated. You guys probably get tired of hearing about Tartaria. I don't know, though, because I see a spike in people watching whenever I cover a Tartaria topic. Seems like people like it.
Feels like the people are being punished for the ancestors' past. A thorn in the side of those from the south. Beyond the ice wall in lands that most of the people here have no idea exists, and probably never will. The phrase, pay for a place where you were born, keeps playing in her head. Criminals, she thought. Her father and others paid a high price to find the lands of the giants. Now it's time to break the walls of fear. The custodians have buried and manipulated history.
The lands of giants and the custodians, yes, we're going to do it. This is quite the rabbit hole we're going down.
To defend their lies so blindly. Surviving here is tough, dangerous, toxic, and unforgiving. Their food, water, and the air they breathe are full of toxins to keep them from living as long as they should.
All right, y'all. This video.
So yeah, our air and food and water are full of toxins. The thing about toxins is anything in a disproportionate volume is a toxin, right? I mean, to the extent that it can poison your system. So yeah, let's let our guy talk.
Its contents are for entertainment purposes only, and it may or may not be true. Keep in mind, this video is sourced from text that is labeled as fiction. Y'all know the deal. I provide the information and let you decide. And don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, hit that notification bell.
You gotta put that disclaimer out because you don't want people going to Antarctica looking for Asgard.
So you get notified every time I post, because there's a lot more of this coming. Navigator across the ice wall.
To keep them...
Query. Let's get Hyperborea on here. But underneath Hyperborea is Scandinavian region of Europe, right? In the middle. So why is Asgard south of Australia? Are they claiming that the Vikings were traveling to Australia? I don't know how to unwrap this. Why are the gods of this country way down here, but Australia doesn't have any Asgardian gods? That's bizarre, right? Why wasn't Australia settled by Asgardians?
Down and more docile than the past waves of humans, but yet her heart is deeply rooted in these lands. She feels connected to her past and the cause for freedom. Wars and manipulation have divided humanity, making the quest for truth that much more urgent. Helen aims to shed light on the known lands and the other worlds behind the ice wall. Thanks to Shaki, the giant human, we have knowledge that was hidden away from the new humanity. Despite revealing her true origins to only one person, she is paving a path to reality. But it's a very delicate dance. They can accelerate the process and reset humanity with just the push of a button. This circle environment is under much heavier watch than before.
And to keep things in perspective, so that everybody understands that this isn't necessarily a flat Earth. It's more like a snowman Earth. It's like, let's see if I can find a good image of it. Yeah, that'll do. It's like, it's like this. A whoop, a whoop, a whoop. So that's what we're looking at as far as how the planet's shaped. Weird, right? To give you an idea what this map's supposed to be showing.
Feels robotic. Love and empathy are few and far between. The custodians, or parasites, as she likes to call them, have controlled humanity for thousands of years. And to break free, we must understand their weaknesses, but more so, their strengths. The custodians. The parasitic race, as mentioned in Chapter 1, bases its technology on attack and defense, focusing on discovering, colonizing, and exploiting other lands and beings.
Oh my gosh, can I go here? There's Mermaid Land. I want to go to Mermaid Land. You cannot stop me from going to Mermaid Land. This is where I belong. We're going to go here. And the mermaids can drown me if they want. I'll be fine. I'll be fine getting drowned by mermaids. I'm okay with that being the way I go out. You got Heimdall's Bridge and Hades' Bridge. You got Talos and Anax and Avalon. Is that Avalon from Arthurian legends? Again, from an area in the middle here. With a landmass that's as big as Asia.
Origins are unclear, but theory suggests they merged with locals after being attacked by another race, leading to their advanced development. It was the carrion race. It was like a bird-like species, and that means they crossbred with them. Custodians were the first to leave their world, known for their destructive
Rainbow Wrath, enjoy your butterflies. Yes, enjoy them.
and colonizing power, reaching various worlds. Defeated twice by different races, they remain vengeful and likely to try again. They also attempted to enter the mysterious celestial lands, believed to be the origin of humanity and its life energy. or soul, our source. Humanity's destiny is to confront the custodians, an inevitable clash with history repeating itself. Each reset leads to stricter control and less freedom.
Everybody's all about resets now. And again, the last reset, at least in the most prominent theories, the last reset was in 1776. Yes, the American Revolution marks the last reset. Everything that allegedly happened before 1776 is fabricated, and they spent the entire 19th century building a fake history. So creating the fake history that we live in now.
Worsening the living conditions. Escaping during the Great War was temporary. Defeat brought more misery to those left behind. Custodians manipulate humans, resetting them to erase their past.
So, are these like nodules growing off of a bigger plane? Because ours is like super stacked, but this one's stacked too. But these ones are not stacked. So, okay.
New, without parents or grandparents. They control the technological distribution, and influential figures reinforce this control. Custodians view humans as inferior and maintain this strict control, even considering resets to prevent one human from escaping. The leaders sometimes debate about eliminating the human race as a whole. Humans perform necessary tasks, creating internal custodian conflicts. Some of them, like us. Some humans connected to the custodians gained passage to other lands like the land of Mars. The last reset, over 250 years ago, followed a significant war, resulting in stricter control.
Oh, they do talk about the war. He doesn't talk about the Cabbage Patch Babies, though, unfortunately. But we will revisit the Cabbage Patch Babies. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, oh my gosh, you're missing out. we did a Tartaria video. It's been a couple weeks ago now. I still haven't cut it or produced it or anything, but where we talk about how they repopulated the Earth with Cabbage Patch Babies after the reset. Good stuff, because there was like some kind of like reproductive problem. Oh, lands of Venus. So there's like space in between too, like big oceans. They make our big oceans look tiny.
Custodians enjoy human fear and sadness, absorbing negative energy, which explains historical sacrifices and tragedies. They have advanced climate modification, creating ice walls around colonized lands to shield and further enclose those races, making escape nearly impossible. 250 years ago was a reset. That's a crazy thought.
I don't think ice is the best material to do that with. Ice has it changes forms at very tight temperatures. You know, the freezing point and the evaporating point are not that far away from each other, and that's not a good material to build an enclosure with at all. You want a material that can withstand as much heat and cold as possible to build an enclosure with. These custodians are not very smart.
Now the Anunnaki. The notorious Anunnaki, one of the parasitic races spreading sickness across worlds, have manipulated and controlled generations for years. They are one of our enemies, hostile and power-hungry, known as the creators of the pyramids. They build these structures on every world they...
People build those structures. These ones you're showing anyway were built by people. If there's Anunnaki pyramids built somewhere, I have not seen them. I've seen pyramids built by different cultures. But, go off. Good morning, Sue. You're just in time for some nonsense. You missed Ogopogo, though.
Visit. They are considered the strongest within our Great Dome, surpassing even the custodians. Their technology is high.
Thank you for stopping by, Jester.
Highly advanced, particularly their weapons that penetrate the domes, making them feared by other races. They utilize portals for transportation.
I'll penetrate your dome, baby. Are they saying the pyramids are the weapons here? Is that what his claim is? That'd be cool if the pyramids opened up on the top, like in Stargate, and blasted a laser into the sky that cut a hole in the dome so they could travel through worlds. Boom.
Giving them a significant advantage. Historically, they defeated the custodians during a great conflict. Shortly after, the ancestors started fighting the custodians.
And they would have won. The ancestors had the custodians on their heels, on the brink of losing their precious known lands. So the custodians did something they absolutely didn't want to do. They swallowed their pride and went to the Anunnaki for help. In their first meeting...
Sometimes I've went to the Anunnaki for help too, and they were like, nah. Like an adamantium or vibranium alloy. I was thinking more along the lines of like a crystalline dome firmament. But as far as an alloy, what about gopher wood? Gopher wood's a good construction material that has the qualities of both adamantium and vibranium. The pyramids already do that. I've covered at least 3 videos claiming that a fact.
Pleas for help fell on deaf ears. The Anunnaki still had a sour taste in their mouth from the previous 5,000 years of fighting with the custodians. So they went back to fighting with no help. And this time, they were on the very edge of...
All right, we got to pick factions, guys. We got to do factions. We're going to split the live chat in half. Which team are you? We're going to do Team Custodian or Team Anunnaki. How do you spell that? Anunnaki. Yeah, there you go. Anunnaki. So you have to pick your team. They're all aliens, Maya. All of them. Well, actually, I think we're the aliens, right?
Losing the known lands. Knowing this, they compiled some massive stashes of gold. I'm talking mountains of gold that they had stashed across multiple different circle environments. They knew that the Achilles heel of the Anunnaki was that they loved gold. See, the Anunnaki...
Gold is pretty. Let's see. Gopher wood can survive atomic blast. It has to because it survived the flood, which the flood... If you know about the heat problem, that gopher wood had to have some amazing qualities to protect Noah, his family, and all the animals inside. Like extraordinary properties. Let's see. Anunnaki, piezoelectric, hydrostatic, microwave, laser. Duh. Oh my goodness. Still listening, just not in chat. Okay, Jester. Well, drive safe. Travel safe. I don't know if you're driving. What will the custodians do? Mop them up? They got a bucket and a mop. Nothing on top but a bucket and a mop and an illustrated book about birds. See a lot up there, but be scared. Yeah, but don't be scared. Who needs action when you got words? We are the descendants of monkey fucking aliens. That's true. If you don't know, if you don't realize that, you haven't been watching enough Bad Science Sunday. The custodians will sweep the floor with the Anunnaki. It was made from real gophers, you know. The gopher wood was petrified gophers. Only found in Florida. Noah is technologically a Florida man. Yes, we have a video about that. Goodness, now I feel like I got to go plug that. Hold on. Here's my gopher wood video where I talk about Noah being a Florida man. Biblical. It's called Biblical Vibranium. Was the name of the video. Yeah, Biblical Vibranium. There you go. Check that out if you hadn't seen it. It's a good one.
His home Terra had lost its great dome, or its atmosphere, and it protected them and gave them the climate they needed to survive. The only way to replenish this was to atomize gold and shoot it up into the atmosphere. So strapped with literally tonnage of gold, they went back to the Anunnaki.
Right-handed Seth.
Again.
Right-handed Seth says, who was fighting the custodians that the custodians went to the Anunnaki for help? That's the team I'd be on. So who was fighting the custodians? I think it was like not a human uprising, but like people, I guess. People were resisting them. But who wants to be on a people's team? People are lame. Maybe they were Jedis.
explaining that if they don't, who knows, the Anunnaki could be next. This, coupled with the gold and the fact that they love the known lands as well, they decided to help the custodians. This would be the deciding factor in the Great War. With the Anunnaki and custodians teamed together, the ancestors stood no chance and had to leave the known lands. Shortly after this, the custodians opened massive gates at the bottom of the ocean floors and let out the waters below, resulting in the Great Flood that ravaged the earth.
And they stopped us from defeating and becoming free in our lands. In various stories from the known lands, the Anunnaki are often
It was us they were fighting against. The Jedi aren't people, they're aliens. Nobody in Star Wars is a people, as far as I know. They're all from a galaxy far, far away. So they're like convergent on people, but they're not actually humans. Like, I don't know what you call somebody from Tatooinian. Or I suppose that Luke is ancestral from Alderaan, so he'd be Alderanian. Aldronian? But I don't know if that's really where they're from. Where is well, Vader is literally from Tatooine, right? He'd be Tatooinian. I think that's how you'd say it. Tatooinian. Well, I don't know if I guess I was thinking when you say people, like the species of human, like Terrans, I suppose, Earthlings. I don't know. No, I don't want to go to Tatanium. That sounds terrible. I can't believe that the Tates got released and they're in fucking Florida. That's so disgusting.
As reptilian beings, but they are in
Oh yeah, that's right, Naboo. Are people from Naboo called Naboo-boos? Yeah, Leia was like fostered in Alderaan. You're right. I was totally wrong about that. I know when I'm wrong.
In fact, very tall, up to 5 meters, with yellowish-green skin, which is dry and scaly. They live in arid zones with minimal vegetation. Their eyes are yellow, red, or black with distinctive slit irises. Depicted in many forms with humanoid bodies and various animal heads, they have confused the true history of humanity, conditioning human minds through oppression and conquest. They lack empathy and share a thirst for power and control, similar to the custodians. Tensions between these two races.
So are the Anunnaki and the reptilians the same people? Are they the same guys? I thought reptilians came from within the earth. I thought reptilians were actually the original inhabitants of Earth, and that we were put here, we were seated here with yeah, like what Maya said, part alien, part monkey. Like they put their own DNA in with the monkeys to create us. And then the reptilians were inside the earth and were like, hey, boo. Terran is what the Galactic Alliance calls the natives of this planet. This is what we are called. Terrans. Earth is the name of the Earth is Terra, Terra. We live on planet Terra. Like so we'd be Terrans. Like someone from Mars would be Martians. Yeah. So we call it terra firma. It's Greek. I mean, as far as the Greek name goes, because all the other planets are known by their Greek name, so call Earth by its Greek name too. It's going to be Terra, and then we're going to be Terrans, which seems appropriate since we call all the other planets by their Greek names. I think. Or do we call them by their Roman names? No, I think it's their Greek names, isn't it? No, it's their Roman names. Jupiter's a Roman name. Yeah.
Might benefit other worlds under their dominion. Venusians, the original inhabitants of Venus, also known as the Venusians, survived colonization unlike the Martians. Legends suggest early humans sought an alliance with...
Yeah, the Romanized. Yeah, the Romanized Latin. Terra. Thank you, right-handed Jedi. Or right-handed Sith. Got a right-handed Sith and a left-handed Jedi. It's keeping track of you guys. Jovians are shifty. Terrans want to speak with the manager again. Yeah, Terrans mess up everything, like Ember says. Friggin' Terrans.
with the Venusians to resist the colonizers, but this was disrupted when the custodians colonized the walled lands. Some theories propose that early humans escaped to Venus, where Venusians focused their technology on spiritual development rather than warfare. When custodians invaded Venus, they encountered a relentless storm, finding no Venusians on the surface. They had hidden underground.
That'd be great if Trump decided he was going to rename the planets and the moon and stuff. I want to see the moon of America. Just the audacity of the people that are celebrating that. There's so much audacity to that. We haven't had the closest things that I can think of to renaming the Gulf like that is that the way that Korea calls the Sea of Japan the East Sea, the East Korean Sea, or the way that during World War II, I think during World War I too, but during World War II, at the very least, that they started calling the North Sea, between Europe, Scandinavia, and the UK, they started calling that North Sea there the German Ocean. So it's like a normal thing for totalitarian people to do, for nationalists to do. Nationalists love that stuff. The Amira moon. Yeah. The red, white, and moon.
In technologically advanced bunkers, the custodians, unable to overcome the storm and underground defenses, faced heavy casualties, and eventually they retreated. Despite their advanced technology, custodians failed to conquer Venus.
When you keep talking about the custodians' advanced technology, all I can think of is that self-ringing bucket and a spritz bottle. That's their technology. That's the height of custodial technology. Maybe, I guess, a floor polisher would be like one of them big things that they use. That might be. Those are fun to use too. Put on some headphones and grab a hold of one of them suckers. It's a workout, but it's fun. At least to an extent.
A significant custodial leader reportedly ended up meeting with a Venusian leader, the Venusian leader pleading for peace and the liberation of humans. But the custodian leader, it was a staunch no, leading to the custodian's departure with significant losses. This story spread throughout the realm, and then people tried to imitate this storm in other circle environments. But
okay, so the Venusian leader was like, free the humans, and then the custodian's like, nah. I'm just trying to keep up with the lore here. There's a lot going on.
That resulted in disastrous outcomes. The Venusians' resilience and advanced underground technology marked a rare victory against the custodians, highlighting their ability to protect their world and their people. Next, we have the Draco, also known as the Etamines, inhabit the Draco lands located northwest of the known lands. These beings, once visitors to our land.
No way, they have a firewall. That's not even fair. We only get an ice wall and then rock walls, but they get a fucking firewall? No fair.
Are renowned for their advanced weaponry and significant psychic development. Some of them possess telepathic abilities, which they use to subdue enemies or colonize other lands. Through a treaty, Etamines allied with the custodians, but initially, the custodians attacked when the Draco were not at their peak.
Etamines? Or Etamines? I don't see an E on the end.
The Draco lands consist of two large continents with lush vegetation and exotic plants. A great wall of ice left by the custodians surrounds their territory, but did not prevent the Draco from conquering lands like Osiris and Anubis. Their technology flourished, especially on the Paradise Islands of Anubis, where they established military bases. Land of...
Wait, dragons and Anubi and dog people are fighting. I'm here for it. Can we get more about that dog people? The Anubis Draco War, the Anubian Draco War.
Mars. Behind the ice walls of Mars lies a vast world. Historically significant to humanity, Mars was home to a diverse civilization before being annihilated by colonizers. The Martians, known for their
Terra Chimeria. Chimerian. That's where Conan's from, right?
Technological and spiritual advancement, chose to die in battle rather than submit to colonization. The Anunnaki, surprised by their total resistance, learned from this first colonization. They had never seen a being stand up like that before. They found it to be noble. Today, Mars is an experimental land where multiple races coexist and engage in constant conflict. The leaders, both Anunnaki and custodians, oversee the entire region. a human colony exists, mostly composed of those who betrayed their race for survival. Notable among them, Admiral Richard Byrd, who confessed some
Admiral Byrd's down there in the land of Mars, in the Antarctic land of Mars. For people just stumbling upon this stream. Oh my goodness.
truce before surrendering completely. Mars also hosts the Grey aliens and Draco colonies. Rivalries exist among the Greys, human colonists, and other races. Monitored closely by the Custodians and Anunnaki, Mars, like other circle environments, experiences time differently, making human passage there a one-way ticket to a long life, approximately 500 years by Earth's comparison. The Custodians moved many races to Mars during their conquests, turning it into a large...
Do the people that live there know they're on Mars? And how is this Mars, but then Mars, the planet, is also Mars? What is Mars, the planet, if this is what Mars actually looks like? Because it doesn't look very red here. And how would it be in our sky if it's... I have so many questions.
large zoo for studying behaviors, conflicts, and race interaction.
What the hell is Rold's Ocean is another important question that I have. Rold's Ocean, like Roald Dahl?
It's under close surveillance. The lands of Pegasus. Now,
Oh, holy shit. Okay, so there's a great dome. Okay, so there's a great dome, presumably made of gopher wood, or what's the crystal that the firmament's made of? Could be made of firmament. Firmament is the strongest kind of mint. It's way stronger than peppermint, spearmint, any of that. Looks like, of course, we're right in the middle because humans are the center of the universe, right? Looks like a giant cell.
this is crazy. Situated near Jupiter and Hercules, have been significant challenge for several races. The beings born there, known for their wings, focused their technology on exploration rather than weaponry for attack and defense. This proved to be the wrong move. When they encountered the Custodians who invaded the Circle environment, the Custodians were astonished to find these beings, known as the Lanteans, effortlessly gliding.
Atlanteans, hell yeah, Atlanteans can fly. Flying Atlanteans, y'all. This is getting crazy.
Gliding through the air with their metallic wings, which moved almost like a dance across the firmament of the beautiful world. Conquering these lands required little effort. The Custodians, Atlanteans named after their central lands, struck a deal with them. The Custodians ultimately harmed them. They lost much of their mineral wealth and shared their technological advancements, unwittingly aiding in the Custodians in penetrating the celestial lands. The Lanteans realized...
You ever been penetrated by a Custodian before? That happens in the land beyond the ice wall. You get penetrated by Custodians.
It's too late the true intentions of their colonizers, leading to several revolts that ended up in massacres of the winged beings. There are varying accounts of their fate. Some claim the Lanteans ceased to exist, while others suggest they survived and are mistaken for angels from nearby lands. Also close to Jupiter, distinguished by their large white wings. The Lanteans are characterized by their long white hair and significant development.
So you're zoomed in here on a few different lands. We got lands of Hercules, Cassiopeia, and Pegasus. Which one of these are the Atlanteans from? You keep talking about Jupiter, but...
Alchemy and science. Generally not hostile to other races, they reached the brink of extinction due to their resistance against their oppressors.
Some of you may remember on TikTok when this Russian gentleman shared his findings.
That's an Atlantean. Okay.
On the beach. If you take a look at the video, just notice the detail is impeccable, like nothing we've ever seen. So much so that you can see the strings on his cloak dangling, but they are literally petrified. The wings on this being.
Broski, it's a statue carved by people with hands.
And its height, it's probably 9 feet tall. There was something telling me when I first saw it. There was...
Oh my gosh. Am I making y'all squirt in the audience? I'm sorry. I know I look damn hot today, but let's try to keep it under control. The Custodians have them up and they're not being friendly today, so...
more to it than it just being a statue. I truly believe that this now petrified being was absolutely once alive, and I believe it is exactly what they're talking about.
So that's
it's
an
from
Atlantean?
Pegasus.
From
and
Pegasus.
It is absolutely Atlantean. Just a theory.
Nerita, Triton, and Poseidon are the names of the lands that gleam in the dark atmosphere surrounding their circle environment. But because of the harsh storms and arid conditions of their world, large portions of their lands remain uninhabited, with major cities built on the most fertile grounds. Despite this, the Neptunians have created colossal structures, some towering twice the height of those in the known lands. Silence pervades this dark world, where the sun is an opaque presence. Technological advancements have enabled the Neptunians to overcome their environment's challenges. Tall buildings and numerous pyramids, legacies of Anunnaki colonization, dominate their cities.
Only the Anunnaki know how to build rocks and to stack blocks in a triangle.
The Anunnaki, known for deceitful technology exchanges, eventually betrayed and colonized the Neptunians, stripping them of their resources overnight. The Neptunians, initially focused on spiritual and personal development, also had significant military capabilities. However, these paled in comparison to the Anunnaki's superior technology. Defeated, the Neptunians were forced into servitude, benefiting their colonizers until they eventually rebelled. Fierce battles ensued, with Triton becoming a chaotic epicenter, where much Neptunian blue blood was spilled.
Why are the mermaids not from Neptune? Seems like a place with a land called Poseidon and Triton, because Triton is the name of Little Mermaid's dad, right? Why wouldn't mermaids be from here? Let's move some mermaids in and see if they prosper here.
Anunnaki remained their enemies, though a truce was eventually reached, leading to the Anunnaki's withdrawal. Today, the Neptunians enjoy peace and high technological development that benefits their environment and spiritual growth. They maintain peaceful relations with neighboring...
Do you all know about the Neptunian spice weasel?
...lands and races, but remain vigilant against potential threats from the Anunnaki or others. Do the Neptunians travel to the other lands? It is said they explore other territories to learn about different races and establish connections, though they haven't visited the known lands or communicated with its leaders. They are familiar with Mars and have contacted the human colony there. The Neptunians are dark blue in color and subsist on local fruits, as their system doesn't process a wide variety of foods. They are vegetarians and maintain a somewhat friendly relationship with the custodians, a curiosity given their strong desire for freedom. The Uranians, or the Uranites, have...
The Uranites. What a name. You want to be called a Uranite?
...and dark eyes. Though some have entirely white eyes that may appear visually impaired, in reality their vision is hyperdeveloped, allowing them to see great distances and explore other lands. Despite their exceptional eyesight, they have not achieved significant technological or spiritual advancement yet. Uranites endure long winters, extremely...
What does spiritual advancement entail?
...low temperatures for most of their local year, which is roughly equivalent to 42 known land years. They are long-lived beings, but their lifespan has decreased due to the strange diseases resulting from laboratory alterations and body manipulations by the custodians. The custodians invaded their world when Uranites...
I'm starting to feel like the custodians are dicks and not custodians at all. They're not cleaning anything up. Why are they experimenting on Uranus?
in the early stages of development, initially uninterested in them or their minerals. The custodians' interest surged upon discovering vast quantities of valuable minerals beneath Uranian lands. Uranium, maybe? This led to massive excavations, leaving the surface scarred by custodial machinery, with local forces to work under severe conditions, almost as slaves. Due to this exploitation, Uranites experienced minimal development. The custodians ensured that the Uranites remained undeveloped to prevent any moderate progress. Today, Uranites are...
I think you should stop calling them Uranites. They need a better name than that. And shouldn't it be Uran? Uranites? Because this is like urine, the word, like piss. You call them the piss people. They should be urine, like Uranus, like the planet. And you keep calling them Uranites.
Are mostly concentrated in their core land, Titania. They are generally giant beings, 4 to 5 meters tall, with 2 very long arms. They feed exclusively on vegetables grown in their lands.
And that's why their urine smells like asparagus. Because that's all they eat is vegetables.
And surrounding areas. The surrounding lands have a climate similar to Neptune's lands, characterized by harsh conditions. Despite their resilience, Uranites remain under custodial dominance, struggling with the...
Stop calling them that. I don't like that. Uranites.
Environment and the diseases that have plagued them since the custodians' arrival. In this vast circle environment, several lands each host unique ways of life. The natives strongly identify with their birthlands and are clearly divided, having experienced significant internal conflicts in the past.
Well, these are the names of the
internal wars stem
These are the names of the moons of Jupiter, right? That's what it looks like. At least some of them are. There's Ganymede. Imagine it's supposed to be Europa. But not all of them are, I guess.
From the Anunnaki's early invasion of their lands. The majority of the population who currently rule reside in the central area known as the Land of Zeus. Historical accounts suggest that a high-ranking Anunnaki...
Yeah, I read it, and it was Uranites. Titan Uranites. Is that where Yakub is from? Is Yakub a Uranite? Is Titan even here?
leader lived there or still lives there, along with leaders from the Jupiter lands. The Zeus-born and Europeans govern and keep the other populations in perpetual conflict, using division to maintain control and manipulate the civilization. Metis is exclusively reserved for the leaders, with no other beings being allowed to enter without permission. The inhabitants have developed advanced destructive weapons for attack and defense, but lack spiritual development. Adhering to a hierarchical pyramid system instituted early by the Anunnaki pyramids are omnipresent in these lands, symbolizing the clear control of the parasitic race. Contact with humans on the known Earths occurred long ago, specifically the 3 resets or 3 reboots ago. These beings exhibit hostility towards most
and
other...
again, the last reset was 1776, allegedly. The U.S. American Revolution is apparently didn't just impact the colonies; it sent an echo throughout the multiverse.
races and have had several conflicts with the custodians. They have extensively studied humans possessing large laboratories with advanced scientific capabilities for modification and manipulation. These beings are short. I think they're the Zeta Reticuli, if I want to say. In stature, 1.4 to 5 meters, known for their distinctive eyes and large bulbous heads. They are carnivorous, primarily feeding on animals born on the surface of their lands. In Aldebaran B, the Taurinos or the Taurines reside reminiscent of the Minotaur from
Aldebaran,
with full heads and human bodies. They embody the mythological image in the Pankosher...
Frickin' Minotaur land! Hell yeah! There's like Minotaur people with giant war hammers. This is way cooler than like we could do a total Dungeons and Dragons style thing.
Reveal a direct connection to humans in past resets. Historically, giants' tales suggested that Taurinos fed on human flesh. However, in recent times, Taurines have proven to be benevolent beings who ended custodial rule long ago. Due to their actions, the Taurines are not well regarded by the dominant races within the Great Dome. They have saved numerous races and species from extinction.
That's kind of badass. This reminds me of like I can't help but keep thinking about the custodians as like Viltrumites from Invincible. You know, I don't know if you don't watch Invincible. There's basically that's the race like it's a XP or a commentary on Superman's Kryptonians, but they're tyrannical and control all the other planets. That's what I keep thinking of when they talk about the custodians. But there's other races that fight back against them in that timeline.
Particularly those unable to reach their full potential due to parasitic attacks. Despite several attempts to...
Right, 5 meters is short. You didn't know that? No, 5 meters is just tiny. It's the tiniest little thing.
The genetic material. Their empathy and love for life in other worlds remained unchanged. Initially, this was not the case, leading to significant internal wars within their territory. Carnivorous beings, Taurines are now scattered across various circle environments. They have always been dedicated to spiritual development and possess extensive knowledge of exploration ships and weaponry. Helen has a direct contact with some of the Taurines, and they have lived with the Anakim giants for a long time, sharing their technology and wisdom with us and aiding our survival.
Hold on, I gotta read this what Ember says. Well, there was a world war in 1776. Americans are all preoccupied with their own business, but the French and the British were battling all around the globe at that time. Well, there were several wars. Spanish were not quiet during that time either. The Caribbean was pretty explosive. There was a lot of revolution down there as well. Yeah, the only reason the Americans managed to pull off their half-assed revolt was because England was busy with important colonies elsewhere. Yeah, especially the East Indies, and they actually held on to India for a long, long time. They were conquering the Mughal empire, like diplomatically and slowly, but they were. And the Mughal Empire had been the richest empire in the world for the last like 2,000 years.
After the Great War. Despite their contributions, giants, Taurians, titans, and other beings are often depicted as evil in human stories, feeding on pain, suffering, or flesh, a truth in the distant past. These imposing figures are frequently rejected in the new humanity due to these representations. Taurians can reach up to 4.5 to 5 meters in height and are distinguished by their large horns, often cut when young. Aldebaran A supports animal and plant life, but Taurians avoid living there due to a violent past marked by extensive bloodshed. A massive internal war between beings from both lands led to complete extinction in Aldebaran A. Out of respect for the memory of those lost, the Taurians decide not to inhabit these lands at all. And last but most certainly not least,
so the cow people. I think that this must be the race that Titan Uranus belongs to because they showed out when this happened.
Incredibly tall beings, 25 feet tall, with some reaching even taller.
That is shorter than 5 meters, my dude. I mean, that's about the same, but it is shorter than 5 meters. Now you're saying that 5 meters is tall.
Their advanced psychic abilities, coupled with their imposing physical presence, make them exceptionally powerful. Due to their significant technological advancements and inherent strength, they have never been conquered by any parasitic race. The Saturnians, even those living on the rings, remained largely unvisited and overlooked until the Anunnaki finally gave it a try. When the Anunnaki attempted to establish dominance, they quickly realized the futility of their efforts due to the formidable nature of the Saturnians. Emerging from a period of extensive wars, particularly in the known lands, the Anunnaki were in no position for another large-scale conflict.
They don't even have an ice wall. They got a Sharpie wall instead of an ice wall. Their ice wall melted, so their leader just came in with a Sharpie and circled around the land to protect it. And that's how that works.
Billions of the Saturnians, they opted for a peaceful relationship. Interestingly enough, when the Anunnaki sought leaders among the Saturnians, they discovered that the traditional hierarchical structure they were accustomed to didn't exist. The Saturnians operated collectively, making decisions through their immense psychic power.
Socialist Saturnians! Communist Saturnians!
Ensuring the benefit of their race. Their unity was unbreakable. The Saturnians possessed highly advanced exploration ships and shared considerable knowledge about the Great Dome with the Anunnaki. However, they refused to assist in the penetration of celestial lands, which they, like many other races, consider sacred. Physically, the Saturnians are...
Don't you penetrate my celestial land without buying me a couple of drinks first.
Formidable beings with a bluish hue covering most of their bodies and white tones on their abdomens. Throughout various resets, they visited the known lands multiple times, weaving countless stories now mixed with mythology due to the custodial manipulation. Some Saturnians have been immortalized on large stones, mountains, or trees, bearing the scars of ancient custodial technology. Alongside the Anakim, the Saturnians are feared by both the custodians and the Anunnaki, as they pose a significant threat to any plans of conquering the celestial lands. So there you have it, y'all. That shit is crazy, right? And it gets better. It's going to start getting back more into Captain Butler and William Morris. I want to give a thorough cover of the book. I want to thoroughly...
I'm like trying to take in all these lands around here. Leonis, Skade, Land of Hydra, Hail Hydra, I guess. There's Land of Vega. Put an S on the end and just fill it with casinos. Land of Vegas, Delta 2, Lerae, Dimario, Aquila, Enif. I think that's Maya. Maya, you have your own land. Not spelled right, but...
We cover everything. I want you guys to know about all the different beings. I want you guys to be aware of what they are and who they are and what they mean. Ultimately, I'm just following this book because it's so amazing. Whether it's fiction, it says it's fiction online, so do what you will with that. Ultimately, I'm always for entertainment purposes only, may or may not be true. I just find the information and let you decide. And this is always a popular subject, the lands beyond the ice wall. It's always fascinating, y'all. And I'm glad to be back doing it. It's going to be a long road to cover everything, which I'm glad.
I'm into land beyond the ice wall, too.
Fun. And it gets a lot better than this, y'all. It gets wild quick. So make sure you stay tuned and keep watching me, y'all. I'm working on my eye contact and stuff like that. I'm working on,
I
you know,
don't even work on
kind
my
of
eye
getting better with
contact.
my
Don't need
scripts, so
to.
bear with me.
I got
This is just a
3
new style
monitors
for
I'm
me.
looking
not
at.
used to it, but it seems to be what YouTubers want. So that's where I'm at. Stay in love, stay in light, be kind to others, y'all. I am out.
All right, so that was the Night God 333 Secrets Revealed, talking about the land beyond the ice wall, based on this cosmology here, which is part of a deeper mythos in this book. But they will structure the planets like this. So this is Antarctica. Can I make that bigger? Let's see. So like this is Antarctica, right? And there's fountains under the oceans up here that make it so that the water flows down, and it flows out through these channels down into this world. And this one has channels too that flows out and down into this world. But as you can see from the map that the guy was just looking at, there's other nodules like this poking up off of an infinite plane that are different worlds. So if you all want to explore more of those, let me know. If this is something that you guys enjoyed participating in and learning about, let me know, because I can jump on more of these, or there's more in-depth exploration to all this that we can go into. And you know, on Weird With It, we might have to. There's just too much to cover here. This is like Tartaria and then the rest of the shit, right? It all links together. All these conspiracy theories have interlacing parts and reuse the same lore and stuff. Anyway, yeah, so that was Getting Weird With It today. I hope you all enjoyed that. And if you have any thoughts on it, or any requests for similar topics or completely different topics, if you hate this type of topic and want me to stop covering it altogether, leave a comment down below and say, hey, this is what I want, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, so I can sculpt my content to please my audience. All right, so thank you for joining us. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time.